welcome to Sports Talk, a wrap-up of the winter sports season at East Brunswick High School. Hi, I'm Ken Sarokal, and I'm joined in the studio with Frank Noppenberger, the Supervisor of Athletics for the East Brunswick school system. Frank, the winter sports season, everything goes inside, but the excitement level is raised, I guess, a little more because of being a little in the cozy confines of our gym and our facilities there at the high school.
Well, you've experienced that cozy confines, is that how you call it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's not much of a home court advantage, but no one likes to come to the Bears Den there. It's a real, it's a very neutral gym, but we play very well there. There's nothing to distinguish that basketball court from anyone else, like the fan backboards or a long or court or a narrow court. But we just play well there. But before we go on, I'd like to thank you, Ken, Kara Monasesky, Dave Neeskins, Kevin McAvoy, Stu Cohn, Bob Cancro, and certainly you for volunteering and help televise those games this year. As I said many times, it's a keepsake for the kids and the coaches, and we do appreciate you guys volunteering your time.
So it's a wonderful experience for us, too. And being an old college broadcaster when I was at Trenton State College, It's a way for me to keep my hand in it and enjoy it. Here we're now 15 years after I graduate.
But you guys do a great job. But it was the winter season. I was coming over here.
Well, it's still going on. I mean,
Right.
as we were taping this, there are still some events, some playoffs going on. For example, the boys basketball team is still involved, even though right now they stand with a record of 14-10. They're still playing through tournament action.
March 4th, we'll be home at 7 o'clock to play the winner of Sayreville and Hamilton East, which is Steiner. That'll be the first round of the states for us. As I said, a season of streaks. We got hot for a while, ran 7 off in a row, ended up giving us a pretty good seed in the states. Our seniors, they provided some good leadership, and we seemed to go in a slump near the end of the year. A couple of them got sick. And going 2 or 3 games a week and you get ill, boy, it takes a while to come back. But Alec Mayo, who was an all-division performer for us, we look for him to be, the big scorer, the shooter. And then we've got guys like Dustin Schull that just do a great job for us. Kevin Johnson. But as I was telling Bo and talking to Bo and Coach Mott, we're young. We have a freshman, Summer, who's a starting varsity Group 4 school as a freshman. Not sure if we ever had that. Not in my years being here. He started just about every game, if not every game. Bo thinks that with his work ethic and his knowledge of the game, he thinks he's a very knowledgeable player, that he's going to be one of the best. And by the time he's senior year, he'll be getting a lot of attention. Tucci, our quarterback, he's going to be coming back next year. I mentioned Dustin, we'll be missing him. And Carl Thilmore will be coming back. So we got some nice kids coming back next year. Coach Mott's JV team, they've won like 18 games. So and the freshmen did a good job. So we're really getting some basketball players. Guys that just play it all year long. And you need that, Ken. You need your point guard to play basketball all year long. You need some athletes in there, too.
Well, that's one of the things that Phil Hill and I talked about last year when we were doing games about the AAU, the CYO teams, the traveling teams, and how that seems to be up and down. It's not as consistent as it once was, the kind of feeder program into the East Brunswick High School program.
Well, there are a lot of AAU groups or travel soccer, travel basketball teams, and we've got a lot of boys involved. We're trying to get some more girls involved, and that goes through cycles, the involvement. But there is so much out there. If you want to be a basketball player, there's so much you can do, from camps to leagues to clinics. And a lot of these kids are taking advantage of it. So that's good. So I'm excited about our future in boys basketball.
How did the boys do in the division, in the GMC?
We took a third in the division, which wasn't bad. The 2 schools we lost to. We split with one and lost close games to the other one. We were competitive. Everyone knows that, and that indicated our number 7 seed in the tournament. Nobody wants to play a Bo Henning team. He's got great man-to-man defense. They believe in it, and we run that passing game. So people don't want to be involved in that because they got to work hard against us.
Okay, we move our attention now to the girls basketball program. Last year, a significant number of freshman girls came up and played big-time minutes for Coach Katie. And this year now they're sophomores. They're improving, but yet the record didn't seem to indicate that.
Well, the athletic director is going to take blame for that one. He scheduled over our head about 3 games that I made a mistake scheduling. I thought we'd be better than we were. And we should not have been playing them. I mean, we'll play anybody.
Who were those teams that you think you scheduled?
It was Washington Township, who's rated in the state, Rutgers Prep, Scotch Plains, and a team from New York City in a showcase tournament at Kane College. We weren't ready for that level, okay? And so even if you split those, we're 500, we're in the States, it's a whole different ball game. So I take the blame for that. I guess I thought we were going to be better than we were. But we're young. We only had the 2 seniors. We had, Jen Schellenberger and Samantha who were great leaders, did a lot for us. But we're still young. You got sophomores still playing against the likes of Piscataway, the likes against Scotch Plains, or Rutgers Prep's got 2 or 3 kids going D1. So we had some learning periods during there. But we played tough. We did a good job in the regular season, playing everyone hard. We left everything on the court. And with Elise Rohan coming back, Cassie Riccio coming back, Kirsten Bennett, who jumped from JV to varsity near the end of the year. She was a real surprise at the end of the year for us. Shannon Nolte, and who will be the surprise for next year is Salcedo, Linda. She's going to be a real good player for us next year. They all are, provided they do their homework. See, they're all athletes in soccer or softball. And if they don't do their homework, we're not going to develop.
Well, you mentioned that the boys, and then you were hoping to encourage more of the boy basketball players to play all year round. Cassie Riccio, for example, plays soccer, and now she's playing basketball. And can you demand? Can you get that kind of of attention to detail to the basketball game?
The intensity level from all their travel coaches and our coaches is so intense. The commitment that they want, that the kids just can't give enough. There's not enough time in the day, so the kids make decisions. But basketball, it needs to work. You got to refine that shooting.
Well, that was one of the problems early on in the season, was the lack of offense. Another thing that I noticed with Samantha and Jen Schellenberger graduating, this team does not have a lot of size vertically.
No, we don't. We don't. And it's not like we look like Norman Rockwell kids, but we don't have any large bodies, too. But we're going to be all right. They're athletes. They play great D. They're coached to play great D. They're competitive. And, shooting is like a thing of streaks. I'm telling you, sometimes you just get in a bad streak. But I'm confident that we'll be back on top soon enough in girls' hoops.
Okay. We now turn our attention to the winter track season, something that really doesn't get a lot of attention because we don't have the facilities here to run winter track. Where do they run?
Well,
I see good records here on both sides, but where do they run?
Let me just recap what has happened with the conference. We unofficially don't have a dual meet season against other schools because the GMC voted not to have dual meets because of the weather. Most people have to run outside. We will run a school outside. We will run a team inside. We've went to Petty twice, and there was like quads or tries, so we get some team competition there, although it's inside, and we do run outside. So that's why when you say they're both undefeated, 7-0, it's like kind of unofficial. But the Toms River complex has a great, and that's where they hold the state championships there. We run our GMC championships there. So the kids will run inside there. And it's a challenge for the kids. Bad weather, they're in the hallways running. If it's nice outside, we're on our track working on it. So it is a challenge for the kids because some days you don't know where you're practicing. But they work hard and the coaches are dedicated. And with the girls winter track and the boys winter track, with Coach Merrigan, Coach Mack, veterans, they know how to push the buttons and they know how to train kids.
Now, are these athletes ones who will be running in the spring, or are these kind of people filling in just to keep their athletic kind of tone, their muscle tone, and that? Or
There's a couple of that, and what you're saying, but most of them are track people. A lot of cross country to winter to spring. But if you're running spring track, you're usually running winter track. And that includes the weight people and the jumpers too. Boys track, Steve Castelloni, he's going to Duke, or he's got a shot to go to Duke, and he's working on that, and he's qualified for Penn. He'll be making a lot of noise in the spring, hopefully, some state championships. Kevin Mulcahy, he's a junior for us. He did a good job, fierce competitor. Derek Chu, he qualified for the states. And Tim O'Sullivan, football player, raw talent. I predict next year he'll be top 2 or 3 in the high jump and hurdles in the conference because of his work ethic. He's lifting for football. He's going to get bigger and stronger. So, and the girls, Connie Kaminkowicz, she did a great job with the distance. So we're okay. Coach Mack said, beware the bear next year. And Coach Merrigan said of the girls, very promising. So, and you know what? You get 50, 60 kids out there involved doing something. That's the bottom line.
Just a little side note here would extend this. The new track that's been laid down now at East Brunswick High School, now attracting more of those kind of athletes to come out who now see the quality facilities here, who might not have.
I think it may help a little in the spring, but if you're an athlete, you're out there. That they're going to run, it doesn't matter what they run on. And it wasn't Connie Kaminkowicz, it was Corinne, I'm sorry. And Jenna Carroll's another young lady I'd like to mention on the girls track team. Yes, our facility is great, Ken. I'm not sure if a kid was going to run out track now because we have a great facility. They're going to run track because of the camaraderie with the kids. They have so much fun together, and that they want to stay in shape, and they know it's good for you. And you could succeed. Track is, if you want to get better, you just keep working.
You talk about work. The cheerleaders certainly have a busy schedule with the basketball season going back and forth between the boys' games and the girls' games, wrestling meets.
Well, we don't do the wrestling yet, but they do have competition.
Right.
We had 2 competitions this spring, and Coach Grasso, times she'd come to me, Frank, there's so many games. The state allows you to play 3 games a week. Well, there were times when we'd almost have 4 cheering events in a week, and we had to work that out because we try to follow that same rules. Like the NC2A, you can only practice so many hours. State says you can only play 3 games a week, except 1 week where you can get 4 in. And we apply that to cheerleading, although the state doesn't recognize it as a sport. We do. So yeah, they were going 3 nights a week cheering and then competition. And yeah, they're athletes. They're no longer just cheering. You see them tumbling, you see the performance, they're dancing. They've got to be athletes. They've got to be able to dance, and they've got to be able to tumble. So it's pretty good.
Well, in the history of the cheerleading, I've noted over the years that other states have put requirements or restrictions, no basket tosses, limiting. I know the NCAA has a size limit on girl cheerleaders. Yeah. They're not to be too big. New Jersey, are we in the New Jersey, it's the state commission there, ahead of the game with that to protect cheerleaders, to encourage this?
You read that article in the paper.
Yeah.
See?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good job. Mm-hmm. Taisha Banks, our captain, great job she did this year. She and I spoke about this. The cheerleading group out there, they don't want Big Brother looking over their shoulder. If the state, the NJSIA, gets involved, then they will control and tell them what they can do and can't do, like they do in football, baseball, basketball, soccer, whatever. Right now, cheerleading, you can cheer all spring, you can cheer all summer, you can cheer in the fall. There's no off season, basically. You follow me?
Yep.
Where if the NJSI takes over it, they will control the number of meets, the number of things you can do, and I don't think cheerleading wants that.
Have we ever had a cheerleader get a scholarship for cheerleading?
Yeah, they get money. They get, especially if you're at a school after 3 years, they'll give it to you. We've had them go to Maryland. I'll think of her name in a minute. But yeah, we have pretty good cheerleaders. And they have a club too. They have cheerleading camps and clubs that they go to.
Oh, well, ESPN has,
Like
ESPN's big showing those cheerleading competitions that look almost like dance competitions sometimes.
They're pretty intense. You got to go to one and see it. Just like you see it on the ESPN or television, it's intense. One of our girls unfortunately got hurt at one of ours during the competition, and then you just roll it. They just keep going. It's like a guy spraining his ankle during the game. They go down the other end and they score. But cheerleaders, great job. I mean, I get so many compliments from other schools and parents about our cheerleaders.
Okay. Another program that we don't see a lot of because obviously no facilities is the swimming program. Both boys and girls swim off campus. Where again, where do they participate in these meets?
They go to Middlesex County College, and you talk about a dedicated athlete. You get on the bus, maybe 2:45. You drive to Middlesex County College. It's only like 8-9 miles, but it's Route 18, Middlesex Avenue. You go in the pool, an hour and a half, 2 hours, you do your swim, you get back on the bus, you're cold, your hair is wet, and then you drive home, get back around 6:30. And they do that 5 days a week, 4 days a week, depending if we ever meet. Our swimming program is probably one of the most respected in the state. It may not always be the best, but we are going to have a full contingent of events, and we're going to be quality. We may not have the best, we may not beat you all the time, but they know we compete. South Brunswick AD paid me a huge compliment the other day about our swim program. The way the kids handle themselves and how competitive we are. You know, like sometimes with teams, you can kind of take a break. If you take a break against our swim team, we'll beat you. If you try to rest a kid.
Who's our biggest competition on both the boys and the girls side?
Well, right now the boys, of course, is St. Joseph's. They're, always the challenge. But North Brunswick, good competition again. South Brunswick, good competition. Bishop Bar and the girls. So, it's the same schools, always battling, beating them. One year we'll beat them, one year they'll beat us. But CJ Sudom and Alex Kruger did a great job for the boys. Coach wanted to make sure I mentioned their name. And for the girls, Melissa Chow and Jenny Zavoda, who will end up being an outstanding swimmer before her swimming career is over, college, high school. And she's just a great kid.
Okay, and the records, unfortunately, didn't show the kind of positive side, but the girls did okay.
They qualified for the states. They qualified for the states, and the athletic director again thinking and scheduled above. See, if we had a couple kids not come out, if that happens, you're losing your best swimmer, and you're counting. And if they placed last year, you're counting on their points. And sometimes it's not as easy to replace. But, I'll be going to their banquet, and it's just a fun time. They really get along with one another. The bus ride, it's a lot of fun. There's more to it than just winning. I know I love to win more than anybody. But the camaraderie, the relationships you build, the confidence you get in yourself, that's what it's all about. Okay.
And one of the other people who bring great pride to East Brunswick High School and to the athletic program is Phil Hostler, the trainer, and all the students that he has brought along to train to become student trainers and then carry it forward into college. And we got to give our recognition to Phil and his group.
Yeah, the four of them. Shane Stone, outstanding. Liz Ottman. Olivia Lornick is new, but she's also an athlete. And then Shengil Tai, T-A-I. They've worked with Phil all winter. And, if the wrestling team's there, one of them is there. And they each get assigned a team. And Phil makes them take written tests, oral tests, practicals. They got to identify parts of the body. If a kid sprains an ankle, what do you have to do? He gives them all these tests. They don't actually treat the kids. You got to be certified treating. Phil does all that, but they're right there learning for them. And some of them may turn out to be doctors. Some of them may be
one
trainers.
of them, I think I forget his name, but one of them is assistant with the Giants, right?
Yeah, right. We have one with the Giants, absolutely.
The wrestling program with Glenn Pazinko in charge here. Are they? I hear it in the Havac room. There's still state tournament going on, or individuals.
Yesterday we just kind of finished our wrestling season, and you talk about streaks, and like one person makes the difference. Dan Shirley made it to the states this year. Made it to the regionals, is what I'm saying. I'm not sure if he was our best wrestler, but he was in the right spot at the right time, advanced out of the districts into the regions. Unfortunately, he lost last night. But you talk about the team aspect. Twice it came down to the last bout. So you go through all your weight classes, all the pins, all the major decisions, and it came down to the end. Twice we came away with a win against Monroe and then against Perth Amboy. 2 major upsets. I mean, we had a streak there where we were upsetting people and at the last bout. But if that other team doesn't put their best in all the time, or if they take someone out for whatever reason, the Bears are going to beat them. So I didn't think we'd do as well as we did. I know we're 1 under 8-9, 1 under 500. But with big wins, you know, against Monroe, against Perth Amboy, against Bridgewater, last bout again. Kids showed me a lot. Ryan Morosi, he'll be back, he'll be okay for us. Senior Ryan Dalton, got a lot of respect for that young man watching him wrestle this year. He had to win a couple matches to seal it for us or to, you know, keep us in contention, and he did it. Ramon Hanna, arguably maybe our best wrestler, or seated in the county anyway. Matt Parabello, he's still young, he'll be getting better. And I mentioned Dan Shirley. So the Bears, we're not happy with 8-9. We wish it was better, but I was surprised that we were 8-9. I didn't think we'd be that good.
And our last sport on the list here is the bowling teams, the girls and boys bowling. That's a sport that over the last couple of years, suddenly, we're good.
Oh, well, we've been good for a while. Coach Elias, he is as good as anyone, is promoting it, getting the kids, morning announcements, bulletin board outside my office. Dan Spieshak was our conference champ this year. He did a great, he was a real leader for us. He also led us to a sectional state championship. We missed the state championship, Group 4, by like 8 pins. Think about all the thousands of pins, and how many of them do this that didn't go? 8 lousy pins. Poor Coach Elias, he was devastated when I spoke to him, but I said, but that's why you keep score, you know? After all those balls and pins in that last state championship, 8 pins. And the girls had a good year, and Morgan Brown was our leader in that. The girls were in contention all the way through. Morgan is a great individual bowler. That's one sport that you have to bowl all year round. You need the parent support, and we have that, and that's why we're successful. We got the ingredients. The kids they're proud to be bowlers. A dedicated coach in Elias.
Yeah, it's not a nerdy sport anymore.
No.
I remember the bowling team when I was in high school was kind of those kids were not really well respected by the other athletes.
No, these kids are, and people, you know, it not as many as you'd like, but kids go down and watch their friends bowl, especially in the big meets, and it's one of my favorite days, going down and watch that whole bowling.
Has the closure of Mid-State Lanes, which is in East Brunswick there by the ShopRite, has that impacted at all the scheduling, the practices?
We didn't use that, but maybe once in an emergency. Usually we went to Carolier, and that's where they hold the state championships. A lot of our kids work there. I mean, they do bowl all year round. They work in the lanes. They bowl in these leagues. And Coach Elias has got us going in bowling. We're always in contention. And, you know, to be co-champs in the division in bowling, Central Jersey champs, and then just missed the champ by, like I said, 8 pins. It's exciting.
As we look forward to the spring, there is still construction on the fields, and that will impact our baseball team, who will probably have to be road warriors.
Yeah.
Can you give us an update on the construction as well as where the baseball team is going to be playing?
Because of the weather, the construction's been on hold, and that'll start up March 1st, they said. The baseball field's going to be the best around. There's going to be lights. It's going to be a turf field. It's pretty neat. Right down right field, I got a little bit of Yankee Stadium. It's like 308 down the line because of the parking lot. And then it jets out to like a 320, 360. So the dimensions are pretty normal, except if you're a lefty pull hitter, you can get a good shot. That should be done in September, and all those fields will be done by September for the fall season. As far as baseball, like you said, we got a young bunch of kids coming back, Phil Moore being one of them. Coach Hock is enthusiastic about the team. We're going to play 3 games right now at the Votech, 2 at Middlesex County College. They got a beautiful field. Again, we're going to the Trenton Thunder again against Spotswood. We'll play a couple games at Churchill, the varsity, and the rest will be on the road. And the kids will just have to be road warriors for a while, but we'll be all right.
Since we're talking about baseball, we can't avoid baseball headlines without discussion of professional athletes using steroids and other performance-enhancing drugs.
Mm-hmm.
As a supervisor of athletics, you're also responsible for these young men and women and their growth and development. What is the message that we are sending to our student athletes about these particular substances?
Well, you know, it's a zero tolerance. We all know that. And, you know, the state, the NJSIA, tests kids during state tournament play.
That's one of the few states that actually do that, right?
Probably. As a matter of fact, we had our volleyball team tested 2 years ago, right after a big match. And then last year was our boys lacrosse team. And everybody's good. Everybody passed. But we go through it through phys ed. Mr. Morris, who's, you know, Mr. Morris, he's really into the weight training, and he teaches phys ed, and he just about gets every kid in the school, and he talks about that during the weight training, about the steroids. We show some movies, some films, and I'm sure the health curriculum covers it. We have posters around the school. Am I going to sit here and guarantee that no kid in that school is taking a steroid? I don't think so. I mean, if I've seen the kid, it's nothing that I would notice. I think our kids are smart enough to know the dangers of it.
Because again, the glorification of certain professional athletes in this metropolitan area would make it so tempting for a student who wants that college to take a second look at him or her.
Let me ask you a question, Ken. I can give you this little pill here. You take this pill, and you're going to be able to throw the ball 90 miles an hour, 93, 94 miles an hour. You take it for 2 years, you get a $20 million contract for 2 years. And then someone tells you it's not going to affect your body for 2 years. You'll be fine. Would you, I don't want an answer, but would you be tempted? Think about it.
Yeah.
So now this major leaguer, you know, and we're not talking about my buddy A-Rod, these minor leaguer guys, if they get the advantage, they think, hey, I might as well give it a shot. And, you know, if it's short term, just for a few years. So, you know, no way do I condone it. I understand why they would do it. I do. And I don't know what the answer is. But don't be picking on my Yankees.
I'm not.
Where are those other 100 guys,
Okay.
Where are those other 100 guys?
I know, other guys. All right, we'd like to thank, Frank, we'd like to thank you for stopping by to discuss the winter sports season. I'd like to thank the East Brunswick TV, EBTV technical crew for their consistent and quality support of East Brunswick High School athletics. For Frank Noppenberger, I'm Ken Sarokal. Hope to see you out at the fields this spring.